What's up, y'all? It's your boy Roscoe P. I'm a little sick, but that's not gonna stop me from giving you another tale from overseas. Um, Recently I was watching YouTube and I saw a person on YouTube, and his name is Johnny Somali. And the only reason it came up on my feed was because he was in Japan, he's wilding out, excuse me. And he really got me thinking about how many people like him I saw in Japan. Now, this is way before like YouTube was big and before, people were big on streaming. This is way before that. But you did have guys that went to Japan, acted a certain way, and then expected nothing to happen, right? Um, the term is F around and find out. And a lot of guys that would happen to. I mean, I would see guys messing up and doing things. And mind you, these are things that they wouldn't even dare to do in their home countries. Would not dare do it. Not once. But you're in another country. You feel like the law doesn't apply to you and you can do what you want. I got to be honest with you guys, and I'm here to give you guys a little disclaimer that before you even attempt to get a passport and travel overseas, I implore you to really look at the laws, rules, and regulations of a country and respect those laws, rules, and regulations. I was there on a work visa. So basketball was work. And my visa could have gotten revoked if I had started messing around because I'm a guest in somebody else's country. If you guys ever want to put it in perspective, think about it just like a house, right? When you go to somebody else's house, kick in their door, put your feet up on their couch, dirty, like sneakers all muddy, and put your feet up, like the old Dave Chappelle, where he was Rick James, he was on Eddie Murphy couch, like, man, F yo couch, F yo couch, and he's kicking it, kicking it, kicking it. And then what happened? Charlie Murphy and Eddie took him off the couch and was punching him in the legs. He had to crawl out of there. Like, that's the epitome of that F around and find out. And that's kind of what this guy, Johnny Somali, is doing at this point. And listen, I have seen it. And this kind of brings me into one of my tales from overseas. Unfortunately, this has nothing to do with me. This was a guy I knew. And and this is a wild one, y'all. Y'all got to just stick with me on this. So this guy ends up dating a Japanese girl. And at the time, I lived in Tokyo. I lived in a really, really great place in Tokyo, in Shibuya Q, right by Hachiko Station. And I had an apartment, and this was right before I moved to Osaka to play down in Osaka, or Kobe, but live in Osaka. And so before I left, I had to give up my apartment. And I was like, yo, I definitely didn't want to give up this apartment. This apartment was great. Centralized location, right by the entertainment area. It was close. It was perfect. It was a perfect apartment, perfectly situated, perfect. But I had to give it up. So I met this guy, cool dude. We'll call him Johnny. I met this guy, Johnny, really cool dude. He was a DJ. And Johnny was like, yo, I need an apartment. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Yo, we talked to the leasing agent. The leasing agent spoke perfect English. Really, really nice Japanese lady. And she was like, yo, I'm going to have you transfer everything to Johnny through me. Johnny's just going to give you like a couple thousand yen, and then that's it. That's the transaction. Cool. So I go down to Osaka. And mind you, I'm down there 3 years. After the third year, I'm like, you know what? It was a blast in Osaka. I kind of want to go back to Tokyo. At the time, I was dating a girl, and I thought that was going to be the person I was going to be serious with. She lived in Tokyo. So I ended up coming back. I was like, you know what? Let me be close to you. I'm going to come back up. So I call the real estate lady, and I'm like, yo, do you still have that apartment? I know this is a crazy thing, but do you still have that apartment? And she and I have been keeping in touch. Like, she was very nice, very nice Japanese lady. I'd give her some tickets to games up in Tokyo from friends of mine that I'd get, and, so far and so forth. And so she says, you didn't hear what happened with that apartment. The people that own that apartment aren't renting it out anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, and then she's like, do you have time to hear the story? And I'm like, yeah, I got some time. A quick disclaimer, side note. Normally the teams pay for the apartments. You get team housing. But at the time, I was playing in a city an hour away from Tokyo. I didn't want to live there. And my coach was saying to me, yo, look, if you find a place that you like, we'll pay for it, but you cannot miss practice. And the travel is on you. I said, fine. So what I would do is every day I would take an hour bullet train ride down to practice for 2, 3, 4 hours, and then take an hour bullet train ride back up to Tokyo. That's how badly I didn't want to live where that town was. I'm just saying. Hey, look, listen, most of y'all would do the same thing too, especially if it were like, yo, I want to live in New York, but you played somewhere in Connecticut. You're not trying to live in Connecticut. You're trying to live in New York. So I don't want to hear from y'all. But anywho, back to my story. So I had to find this apartment myself. This lady helped. Boom, boom, boom. So she's like, I don't think you didn't hear, let me tell you the story. So the guy, Johnny, moves into the apartment, right? But from what I didn't understand was Johnny was living with his girlfriend at the time. And they were living in a studio apartment. And you're going to ask me how I know all this. And it's in the story how I found this out and how this real estate lady knows all this information. So Johnny lives in this apartment. And he lives with his girl. And the apartment is in the centralized location in Shibuya. And Johnny decides he don't want to deal with this chick no more. He's like, yo, this chick is crazy. She's abusive, blah, 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 blah. So Johnny is like, yo, I'm out. I'm leaving in the middle of the night. His girl goes out, clubs with her friends, and he tells his girl he's going to work because he's a DJ. But Johnny doesn't go to work. Johnny packs up all his stuff, moves into my apartment, which wasn't that far away. It was in the same district, and then acts like nothing happened, and then tries to avoid this girl. She's calling him. He's not picking up. She's emailing him. He's not answering, And so what ends up happening is one night, Johnny's DJing. She sees him. She follows him home, right? And Johnny doesn't know this, apparently. She finds out where Johnny lives, and she calls the police on Johnny. A Japanese woman calling the police on a foreign man. Yeah, bruh. The Japanese police are there to keep the peace. They're not there to protect foreigners. So she tells the Japanese police, yo, this foreign dude stole money from me. He stole clothes from me, all this stuff. Japanese police are like, all right, well, do you know where he lives? Yeah, I know where he lives. So the Japanese police figure out where he lives. They contact the real estate broker. The real estate broker has to come and let them in, right? And I could hear y'all now, what? There was no warrant. There was no this. There was no that. Yo, it's Japan. Their rules. I don't know nothing about those rules, but they rock out. So Japanese police go in to this guy's apartment. So the real estate lady, Johnny's ex-girlfriend, who we ran from, and 2 Japanese police officers. And mind you, this apartment is not that big. And the real estate lady's telling me it's a mess in there. Like, Johnny got his stuff all over the floor, everything. Bed's a mess. Everything's a mess. Apartment was fully furnished, by the way. So in the midst of all this, they're rummaging through his stuff. And they find tapes, like, CDs, memory cards, what have you, right? They find a bunch of memory sticks. And they're like, yo, what's going on here? So they start putting the memory sticks in and playing the memory sticks. And Johnny is making adult films with other women, right? So in Japan, in an adult film, it's pixelated because it's illegal to show the reproductive areas. It's illegal. You can't do it. Not on video. So Johnny is sitting there like, oh man, yo, yeah, he's going in on these movies, right? Going in on these women. And the cops turn it off. They start putting these in and like collecting them and putting them in baggies, right? And as they're doing that, the girlfriend is like collecting Johnny's stuff. She's like, I bought him this. These are mine. I bought these him. I bought these for him, the boots and stuff that's entirely too big for her, clearly. But the real estate agent is like, yo, she's really robbing him in front of the police. That was her take on it. But she was saying, like, I bought this for him, and they didn't ask for no receipts, nothing. They end up like leaving the apartment, and they waited for him to get home. The police arrested him when he got home. And they arrested him on distribution of illegal adult material, because they found that other stuff in there that they weren't even looking for in the beginning. Johnny, for that, got 3 years in Japanese prison, which it's horrible because they don't believe it's their job to feed you. They'll be like, yo, nah, like bring a family member in to feed you. If you need anything else, your family has to come in and provide it for you. Like, I think it's like a basic meal and that's it. And then after you get out as a foreigner, you're automatically deported. So what they do is they put you on a plane and then they fly you to the closest place of your country, right? So that would be Hawaii for the people in the United States. But you're trapped in Hawaii because what happens in Hawaii is if you can't pay for that plane fare from Japan to Hawaii, then they don't let you fly anywhere else. You owe the airline. So I've had friends of mine that have been stuck in Hawaii for months trying to get money to pay that airfare to then get on a plane to fly home. So they have to like call their parents or call somebody or like whatever the case may be if they didn't have the money. I've had friends that have had no money and got deported, and they've been stuck in Hawaii for months trying to get back to the mainland states. It's been horrible. Like, I've seen the horrors of it. So listen, man. Listen, Japan, like a lot of those countries, are homogeneous societies, which means that there is one ethnic group there, right? Like, they're in Japan, they're Japanese people. It's not the States where it's very heterogeneous, where you have all different types of cultures and everything. No, it is one culture, one people, and the other 1% are tourists and people that decide to live there. And you know what? You better follow every rule imaginable. Because if you don't, Japanese police are there to keep the peace and protect Japanese citizens. It's not like Thailand. Thailand is homogeneous as well. But if you go to Bangkok, Thailand and Bangkok, they have a police force that specializes in making sure that tourists are okay, because they realize that tourism is a big part of their economy. So if you go in and you get hustled for something, you can come out and get one of the police officers go in there and get your money back in Bangkok. But in Japan, they don't need the tourism. Chances are one of y'all watching this has a Toyota, a Nissan, a Lexus, an Infiniti. Like, what are we doing? A Suzuki. If you guys got motorcycles, you got a Honda, Suzuki, or a Kawasaki. A couple of y'all got PlayStations in your house. Some of y'all got Sony TVs. They're not hurting for any type of tourism. So when you go to places like that, please believe that if you don't follow the rules, you're going to end up like your boy Johnny Somali. And it was only a matter of time before they got him out of there. It was only a matter of time. You could see it building too for all the craziness that he was doing. Like, when that's why people don't trespass on Japanese properties. Like, that's considered super illegal. And if they look at everything that he's been doing, they're gonna throw the book at him. He might mess around and do those 3 years. And since he's by himself with nobody to help him, those are gonna be the roughest 3 years in jail of his life. Or if he goes to jail at any point in time, that's gonna be the roughest jail time ever. And then after that, they're gonna put him on a plane. They're gonna escort him from the jail to the airport. And then they're going to send him off. And from what I understand, the craziest thing is that This happened before I even got back. So he was in jail those 3 years. What I understand is that they didn't even let him, and this is my boy Johnny, the dude Johnny I know. They didn't let Johnny go back to the apartment to get his stuff. They literally marched him from the jail to the airport and then put him on a plane and sent him off. They were like, yeah, goodbye. They didn't let him go get his stuff, nothing. So they went and cleaned out all his stuff and just tossed it. So listen, disclaimer. And yo, this is your boy Roscoe P. Another one of my tales from overseas. Yo, y'all gotta be very careful, yo. Very careful about when you go to other countries. Yo, be educated about the laws and be educated about what you see. And do not go there causing ruckus because they will get you. And if you got, it is no fun in foreign prison. No fun. I'm trying to warn you. I've never been in a foreign prison, and trust me, I don't want to even give you that experience. First-hand experience, no thank you. But yo, it's been a blast. It's your boy Roscoe P. And this has been one of my tales from overseas. If you like this content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and yo, I'm gonna catch y'all for the next one. Peace.